Hello and welcome back to the Ascending Crows podcast. This is your host, Sam Roloski, and today's exercise will be discovering the Lower Dan Tian. Now, you may ask, what is a Dan Tian? Similar to the concept of a chakra, a Dan Tian is an energy center that is found along your spine. And in this practice, we're going to be focusing on two specific centers, the upper Dan Tian, which is your Ajna chakra or third eye, the part directly in the middle of your head, right between your eyebrows. And the other energy center that we'll be focusing on is the lower Dan Tian, which is also known as the Sea of Qi or our sacral chakra. It's linked to our sexual energy, but is also the epicenter of our energetic body and holds the majority of our life force. Now, there's just a couple things I want to go over before the actual practice, and the first is going to be the exact location of these centers. Just to clarify, the upper dantian is really the exact center of our brain, where our pineal gland is. Most people can think of it as the point between your eyebrows, but it's not just the point between your eyebrows, it's also the dead center of your brain, which is where our pineal gland is. And the exact center of the lower dantian is 3 inches below the navel and essentially a centimeter directly in front of the spine. Now, of course, everybody's body is different. These centers may change slightly in position from person to person, but this is the approximate location, and this is really the best way to have that focal point and be able to feel the dantian. Now, let's get ready for practice. Let's find our comfortable seat. Make sure your spine is upright, make sure your breath is deep, and get ready to discover your lower dantian.
Ascending Crows Podcast.
Okay, everyone, let's find a comfortable seat. Make sure your spine is upright but relaxed. Let's gather our hands together. Now we're going to take a slightly different hand position. We're going to still place our left hand on top of our right hand, but this time you're going to take your left thumb and you're going to put slight pressure on the bottom of the top knuckle, the middle finger, and then you're going to take the right thumb and place it at the bottom of the middle finger where it meets the palm. And you can place it either where we place the Cosmic Mudra, which is right below our navel, or you can place it and lay it in your laps. Now let's close our eyes. Start breathing naturally. We're going to briefly go over the 3-point awareness. So let's begin by being aware of the breath entering our nose, our chest, and abdomen. As you breathe, begin to slow your inhale. Let your breath naturally reach the lower abdomen. And naturally exhale. Let's take 3 deep breaths with the awareness of this first point. Now begin to bring awareness to the top of your head and begin to draw the outline of your body, starting at the top of our head. So top of your head to your shoulders. Breathe in, draw the line from your shoulders, down your arms into your fingertips. Breathe in, draw the line from your fingertips to your armpits. Breathe in, draw the line from your armpits down to your hips. Breathe in, draw the line down the sides of your legs to your toe tips. Breathe in, draw the line up your legs to the center of your groin. Take 3 deep breaths with the image of the outline of your body. Start to pay attention to the sounds around you. As you breathe out, slowly push that awareness farther away from your body. Take 3 deep breaths on the third point of awareness. Keep breathing deeply and naturally. And as you're breathing, start to place more focus on your lower abdomen. Really let the breath reach your lower abdomen. Don't force it. If it doesn't reach all the way down there, don't force it. Just let your breath travel as far down as it can go naturally. And try to get it deeper little by little with each inhalation. Breathing deep like this, we're trying to bring awareness and stimulate our lower Dan Tian. The energetic center, 3 inches below your navel and 1 inch in front of your spine. As you breathe in, let your belly naturally expand. As you breathe out, allow your belly to fall back towards your spine. Feel it pull into your spine. Feel the warmth there. When we breathe in, our abdomen naturally expands and contracts. This is the natural rhythm of our breath. For only 3 breaths, we're going to try reversing this. So on your next inhalation, instead of letting your belly naturally expand, I want you to bring it into your spine. So breathe in, pull your belly in. Breathe out, let it go back to its natural position. One more time, breathe in, bring the belly towards the spine. And breathe out, back to its natural position. Let it expand. One more time, breathe in, pull it towards the spine. And breathe out slowly. Now, while continuing to use this reverse abdominal breathing, bring awareness to the outline of your skull. Draw a circle on both sides of your skull and make it a nice, perfect circle. Now, on your next inhalation, as you draw your belly in towards your spine, draw that circle closer and closer until it reaches your upper Dan Tian, the exact center of your skull. And then breathe out and draw that center line down to your lower Dan Tian. Let's try that all together 3 more times. On your next inhalation, draw your belly in towards your spine, draw the circle in towards the center of your skull. Exhale and draw that center line down towards your lower belly. Let that center point reach your lower Dan Tian. 2 more times, breathe in, draw the belly in, draw the circle in. Breathe out, let that point reach your lower Dan Tian. 1 more time, breathe the belly in, draw the circle in. Breathe out, draw the center down to the lower Dan Tian. Now place all your awareness back to the lower Dan Tian. And just breathe naturally. Allow your belly to expand with your inhale and let it go back to its natural position on your exhale. Follow the natural rhythm of your breathing. If your breath doesn't reach all the way to your lower abdomen, that's okay. Just place the awareness there. Breathe naturally. Draw that energy down your central channel to your belly. Don't force your breath to be deep. Allow it to get deeper little by little. To really fully begin to feel the lower dantian, it's recommended to sit and practice breathing like this for 15 minutes. But take it at your own time. Breathe like this with this awareness for as long as you're comfortable. Just take it at your own pace, guys, whenever you're ready to get out. I think when practicing deep abdominal breathing, it's really a good shortcut to getting to that, not only a relaxed state, but a state where you can focus a little bit more. And so, those other exercises we do, there's almost no difference between them, but this is just a little bit of a way, these centers in our body have a really big control on what they do. And the lower dantian, that's that point is also where, it's in science is known as our second brain. This is this huge clump of nerve cells that we're placing all of our focus and awareness on, and that huge clump of nerve cells, I don't know, but it awareness of it does something.
Yeah, it's very interesting breathing into that point, especially since we were doing it kind of like the reverse of what we're used to,
right?
And especially switching to that point, breathing out, or inhaling and pushing our bellies out, and then letting it collapse in on the exhale, and then just switching to the opposite, contracting on the inhale, and then let it back to natural. It really it in terms of posture as well, it forces you to keep a great posture.
Glad you said that.
Because you're like bringing your stomach into your spine, which makes your spine upright, so that's like a cool aspect of that. And I was gonna say, it made me think of our breathing exercise with Karma. Big shouts out.
Shouts out.
And that felt great. And so this is like related in terms of, she was showing us all the places to breathe into and from.
Right.
This is more of that, very centralized on that lower abdominal, the name.
The lower dantian.
The lower dantian.
Yeah.
All that, and that feels really cool. And it's interesting. I remember that day, that episode. I remember I talked about this in the discussion that I had a big breakfast that day.
Right.
And so it made it
tightened everything up.
It made it different. And so this time around, I actually think I had the same thing for breakfast this morning, but this is 6 o'clock.
It's many hours after you ate.
Exactly. And I'm actually the opposite now. I'm hungry.
Right.
I gotta go eat after this. And that actually, it was like a chicken and egg thing. Doing the practice, maybe the mics picked it up. Maybe my stomach was rumbling a few times. And it wasn't really rumbling before this. Obviously, I'm starting to get hungrier.
The mic picks up everything.
But I'm wondering if, it's interesting, doing the practice, awoke my stomach,
I'm going to stop you there, because you said a lot of good stuff that I'm all going to talk about. The first is how you're talking about the natural rhythm of our breathing. Now, I just wanted to clarify something I wanted to go over earlier, that breathing naturally, letting your abdomen expand with your in-breath is referred to as Buddhist breathing. And what Manny was referred to as drawing your stomach in towards your spine, that's actually referenced as Daoist breathing. And it's actually really cool because that reverse abdominal breathing, that is like because it's so different from what we normally do. It's a shock to your system.
Right.
And literally, it shocks you into sort of realizing that you're stimulating something when you do deep abdominal breathing.
It makes you aware.
It makes you
the lower
aware.
Dan Tian.
Exactly. It's a kind of a way of I don't want to say forcing, but it's a little bit more of a direct route to realization in a way, because not only are you stimulating your second brain, this huge clump of nerve cells down there, but when you focus on your lower abdominal, you're naturally using your full lung capacity. I think when you do a practice like this, you start to realize how naturally shallow our breath normally is. When you're day to day, your mind's running, your breath is all trapped up here, and so doing an exercise like this opens up the full capacity of our lungs, and it just shocks us into being aware of what our full lung capacity does to our mind.
And like how deep your breath can go, and to the point, even the drawing your outline, like when I was doing it, I purposely like did like the Kill Bill shit, wiggle your big toe.
Right.
I purposely think about your big toe. Big shout out Quentin. That's he probably meditates.
I'm sure he meditates.
But that kind of thing, like I purposely, as I was breathing in, simultaneously, thought, put my big toe into my awareness all the way down, and all the different points of it that you said.
Right.
Consciously, like actually, like moving it a little bit. It doesn't even have to be like I feel it. You can really it can be physical. So that was really cool, and then, and then that, and then using that sense of awareness for things like your big toe, you draw that into the the smallest point of your skull, which is harder to like physically move. You can't wiggle your skull.
Right.
But just starting with focusing awareness on your toe or something like that, and down to your hips and everything like that, then it's like you can imagine that.
You can imagine
that circle right in the middle of your head.
The parts of your body that are harder to feel. Like you said, you can't wiggle your skull. You can't feel the inside of your brain. But drawing direct attention to something, you're like, oh shit, I feel that. Exactly. Can I bring that somewhere else?
Yeah.
And you can.
Yeah, and that's pretty dope. And then especially down to the bottom of the gut.
Right.
Because that's like a very you feel that. I don't know. Yeah, and I found that interesting. So I guess if listeners do this again, make sure that you are not full of food. In case you were, in case you were, you made the same mistake that I made with the karma on the karma episode. And in fact, maybe I think it might be safe to say it's maybe good to do while hungry. Because I don't know.
Well, actually, there's a balance there. I think you're onto something there, Festo. I think when you're used to this practice, and can develop a little bit more of that attentiveness easier, then yeah, I'd say go for it. But really, even the ancients, when prescribing this technique, said when you're first starting out, any extreme hunger, it's like if you're fasting and doing this. It's going to distract you, and not only is it going to distract you, it's actually going to cause contractions in your abdominal muscles, so that you really just want to stay relaxed, and staying relaxed is about being comfortable. We're more comfortable when we have some food in our belly, so we don't need to be completely empty. But if you are a very disciplined person, if you're used to fasting and used to having your stomach being empty, you are 100% right. It will make it better. Yeah,
because like I said. Just the breathing into that feeling aspect of it. First off, you're there's less in your belly to limit you from being able to contract as much as you might be able to. And then just the fact that it's the fact that there is nothing there helps in the expanding of your belly as well through your breath. So it's just an interesting physical experience. that I enjoyed. You know.
So I got a couple questions to ask you, experiential questions. The first one is going to be, were you able to feel that sensation of heat in your belly, or were you able to at least feel sort of that presence of being centered when focusing on that center?
It felt like a presence of being centered. It felt like, there's like a pit in the middle of a plum, something like that.
Yeah.
It felt like I had that in the kind of like I was breathing into some point in there.
Right. Beautiful.
You know, it felt like there was like a little ball that was kind of like in the center of everything.
That's actually part of the goal, is to link your breath to that center. And really the deeper practice of embryonic breathing is drawing that energy with your breath. Your energy just brings that, all of the energy down your central channel to your lower dantian, and letting it build as a means of that. So that's great. That's taking the practice to heart, man. That's
I like this one.
Yeah. I'm glad you did.
Dan Tian.
Joe, what about you? We haven't heard your input too much.
Yeah. So, well, partially because I feel like you guys, Manny and you have been carrying the conversations pretty well. But I would say,
just want to hear from my boy.
With a little perspective, being that I've done this meditation a few times, so it's not my first rodeo as such. In hindsight, perhaps my lunch was a little too big, and that might have taken away from it.
Experience.
We'll just talk about any experience that you have of feeling that warmth in the dantian.
But what's kind of interesting, actually, you guys might notice this, was I actually start to get very sweaty and begin to overheat, and it's actually because
That's not necessarily a bad sign.
No, I am able to produce heat in my stomach when doing the breathing aspect, and even if I didn't feel the sort of connection to the stomach that I wanted, I do feel that the more and more I do this meditation, and the deeper and deeper I can get into it, by getting into the right state beforehand, I begin to feel that place of focus, especially in the brain and in the stomach, and begin to consolidate that. That's sort of like what I try to do during this exercise. Right. So I start with a more, like, as you called it, a general outline, but I try to consolidate that shape more so into more so behind the forehead, and more so in the stomach.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because that's why we focus on the upper dantian and bring the upper dantian down to the lower dantian, is because these are two polarities linked by the central energy channel, which is our spine. And so when we focus and build the energy down here, they say we're also condensing our third eye, or in Chinese they call it Shen, your spirit. Right. So when you mess with one, you're also doing the same thing to the other. So that is an excellent point for our listeners to know, because you're not just focusing on one thing, and this is really what helps you get into the understanding the energetic body, and how all of these channels are linked and they all influence one another.
Right.
Yeah. I felt that from just like the connecting points of your body aspect of the exercise. Right. Going through
the 3-point awareness.
And then kind of like the chain, like, all right, now breathe from the top of your head down to your fingertips to armpits.
Well, because it is a cycle, and I think you can actually, through meta awareness, you can sort of begin to tap into that cycle.
Right.
And at least for me, when I do that, it really helps me kind of pivot from what the distractions of day-to-day life, right? And like, oh, I got to go to work, right? Oh, my alarm is too jarring. Okay, I got to take a shower. I only have 5 minutes to take a shower, right? But this is the opposite of that, as far as I'm concerned. This is about taking a step back and let life kind of come to you, right? Don't go to life,
right?
Because you're not thinking about any of that stuff. You're actively thinking about your own
you're
parts
creating
within your own body.
You're creating. I can create resistance on myself, right? And I'm trying to I'm trying to deprogram that.
That's where that heat comes from, right? Yes. When there's a lot of resistance we got to push through. Maybe it's our chattering mind going nonstop. That's where we feel a lot of heat too, and it can really feel overwhelming. It can feel to the point where it actually feels like there's boiling water in the center of your stomach.
Yeah.
So
I'm someone who overheats relatively easily, right? So
right. And our bodies are completely conduits for this energy as well. So when we tap into that center of our energy, sometimes that unlocks this catalyst that is just our whole energetic body awakening.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, for lack of a better word, a practice like this is a shortcut to quieting down your mind. It is, I've heard magic practitioners of Western magic saying, it's the same process of self-realization, but it's pouring jet fuel on it. And so, I don't really like that that metaphor, because I really think it is something you should take step by step. But every now and then, we really need to know how to quiet ourselves down.
Yeah.
And on the contrary, you can't get locked. Like, I can't do this. I can't quiet down my mind. I was down that path for at least a year.
Everybody.
Where I couldn't breathe into my lower Dan Tian, and I thought, I'm just done meditating forever.
That's you gotta.
But what I learned was, sometimes you just, if you place your focus too aggressively anywhere, that's not good.
Yeah.
My mind and body was just telling me, like, dude, just don't worry about it. Just breathe.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Still sit down. You
Shower
have to
off,
sit
of
down.
course.
It's such an important practice. But if you force yourself into thinking, I can't do this, then
you can't do it.
Yeah, then you can't do it.
Definitely
Absolutely.
not shy.
That's Jordan. Jordan would never say that.
Right.
Yeah.
Jordan wouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that to your son. Dame Dash wouldn't say
Dame
that
Dash
to
would
his son.
never say that.
Not to his son, certainly.
Definitely not to his son. Yeah, man. I mean, it's all about knowing if you can. Again, that's why I'm glad we did take 2. You'll never hear take 1. Bloopers, but that's why I'm glad we did it twice, because it's like, okay, so this is a good one to try to do. Like, I'm gonna. Is this at least just the breathing aspect of it? Maybe not doing all the points of awareness, but could you do the breathing method within any other meditation
Yes.
practices? You can
Absolutely.
do the stomach breathing.
So this
method.
practice is really a formation or a basis of what's called embryonic breathing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get too much into that, but it is really one of the first stages in what's called spiritual enlightenment Qigong, a practice of exercising Qi and learning how to use the Qi within the human body. But that lower abdominal breathing is the key to so many different breathing practices of Qigong, and not only Qigong, Tai Chi, Kung Fu. It's actually the basis of almost every East Asian martial art, and not even just East Asian martial arts. Indian yoga always emphasizes breathing very deeply into your lower abdomen when you're doing certain yoga poses, if not all yoga poses.
Yeah, a lot of stresses that.
So this is not just linked to the practice of Chinese Qigong. You can use this lower abdominal breathing in almost any artistic, physical movement practice. It is a really, I think, is a direct link to life. And that you can apply this to anywhere.
Well, I think it relates to flow in that, right?
100%.
Is a more broader sort of topic on that, but it pivots
You
on.
need to sit up, homie.
It pivots on the same things.
Yeah, we said.
Yeah, 100%. Because you're supposed to connect your breath to the flow of energy, right? So you're letting this whole process be natural and follow its own accord. We're aware of the channels to help expedite the process, but we don't force that.
Right.
We let our awareness and the combination of the knowledge of the energy channels to help make it faster, for a better word.
Yeah,
right.
You'll lean back on the bed, broski. Be comfy, broski. Everybody be comfy, broski.
We need your energy.
On
present
the
for us, bro.
the doorski. Yeah, dude. I think the breathing exercise. Well, I said this. I think it could help you with your lower back posture very much with
Oh yeah.
Did you say that earlier? I'm not sure.
I don't know. At least during
You're
meditation.
right. You're
but I think,
absolutely right.
and especially working it into your normal breathing routine, even just that on your day to day.
Yeah.
You could even just a little bit. I'm sure that could help. Just already, I'm just sitting. I'm sitting comfy and my spine's right up.
We talked about this on an earlier episode of the podcast, but I'm great you're bringing that concept up again because it allows us to go deeper into the concept, which is regulating without regulating, when you
Just do.
when you practice lower abdominal breathing to the point where you don't think about it anymore, and it's just something that happens even outside of meditation, you the Taoists are saying, okay, you reach immortality. You are keeping your energy at its center.
Right. Yeah.
You have found a way to integrate this breathing into everyday life. It's sort of, it's almost seemingly like one of the, for lack of a better words, the English language keeps trapping me, a requirement for being an enlightened person.
Yeah.
If you can maintain that deep connection to breath, that's a deep connection to the present moment.
You've learned 10,000 things.
Right,
If you follow what I...
Yeah.
If I need to elaborate
10,000 is an important number in Taoism. The 10,000 is a myriad of things, goes back to 3, and the 3 goes back to 2, and the 2 goes back to 1.
Right. They're all the same 10,000 in various interpretations or perceptions.
Well, really, it's infinite, right?
Infinite,
that 10,000 is sort of just a way to help us think of something that grand and that vast and having that many different facets. But in reality, it is infinite.
Right.
Yeah. But sorry, to go back to what we were saying, this deep connection to your breath and the present moment. It's being connected to that well of energy, and when you learn how to produce it, and you use not only your abdominal muscles but the muscle of your perineum, that's actually stimulating your sexual organs and your sexual hormones, and leading you to use that energetic release to transmute that sexual energy into spiritual energy. This technique really is the link between our spirituality and our physicality.
Yeah,
I like that. It's like the portal, as it were.
I like. Yeah, that's a good word.
That's how you explained it, right? I didn't think of it that way. But that's how you explained it.
I didn't think of it until you said it. I think that's dope as hell.
All right. So then that's a team. That's a team effort.
Martian.
That's a team lizard. That's a Lizard People Productions.
That is from the mouth of lizards.
On the mouth of lizards.
But
the mouth of lizards.
So we're going over
heat.
heat. We went over the concept of regulating without regulating. The other question I wanted to ask you is do you feel this is a somewhat more direct route to, I'm not going to say samadhi, one-point realization, which I think it is, but do you think relying or using lower abdominal breathing, did it bring you to that place of relaxation faster? Was it somewhat of an expedient, or do you think, I think it's better that I practice more 3-point awareness?
They go hand in hand.
Right.
I'm more about seeing what the breathing practice does for you, the effects it has. Long term, I think in the moment, the 3-point awareness is more, more direct, or like you're more in it. It's
something you could do at any moment.
At any moment, yeah. It's less of a physical practice, I guess, with the abdominal breathing. I don't know, but
yeah, I think you're onto something.
I don't know, but they both give a lot. They give what they give strongly, right. Each.
Absolutely. Having my practice starting out with 3-point awareness, then leading to Qigong embryonic breathing, I thought it's like I practice 3-point awareness enough. Now I can just do embryonic breathing all the time. And maybe that is true. There are plenty of sages who are connected to this breathing at every moment. But it was a trap that I fell in that said, okay, this is the only practice I practice now. Mm-hmm. This is the only way I meditate. And it's such a relief. Dogma. It's such a relief to have 3-point awareness to always be there.
Yeah.
When I thought I couldn't meditate, I just started doing 3-point awareness again. And
would you call that a counterbalance? Well, is it fair to say?
It is a counterbalance, but these two meditations are trying to achieve the same thing, which is to quiet the mind and be aware of the body, but also create one-pointed awareness, one-pointed focus, rather. So they, like you were saying before, they are the same. One should be seen as a way of mapping out the energetic body to produce that state. but the other is a way of slowly unraveling that state.
Right. And like, yeah, I like feeling into it more.
Right.
But yeah, and try to combine the two, the aspects of them.
Well, yeah, they should be.
Exactly.
Whenever I practice 3-point awareness, I do think for a lot of time I do place my awareness on my lower dantian. I don't try to force the energy there or do anything to make it, but I always try to be aware of it.
Yeah, like I said, it helps you keep that area strong.
Yeah,
like it feels, you're upright. Oh, and in terms of did it make you feel relaxed? I feel relaxed now.
Oh, very relaxed.
Right, Jesse?
Especially after that sweat. Like the overheating makes me sweat, but it's like it's a cleansing sweat.
Right.
Like something I get at a sauna or something.
Yeah.
We're a little sauna. It's a tight space. No,
but that was body heat. That was body heat sauna.
It's a muggy September day.
Muggy September.
Muggy, wake me up. When December ends.
When the humidity ends, yeah.
Yeah. It's too hot.
I'm still asleep, yeah.
Lizard. But
no, but to your point.
No, but the heat does help. Like the heat also relaxes you a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, big time.
It got me.
Gets you in the jungle vibes.
Yeah,
I mean the island rather.
I'm big T right now at the sauna, at the spa.
The spa in Newark.
Yeah. Don't counterfeit money. So like, but all that stuff affects you. All that stuff makes makes you get into a zone. I'm glad we had the light off thing as well. I hated it, and we got the sunset. Paint a pretty picture. Sunset shining through the windows.
Shining through the windows.
That all got you in your zone.
Sure does.
Sure it is. And now,
great day to have a great day.
It's great. Yeah,
that's something I like to meditate on.
And now I'm excited to have some.
Yeah, I'm very
tacos
hungry.
Or something that
some tacos.
Are we winding down?
Hey man, we can wind these.
I think that's a wrap.
Yeah.
You don't gotta do that, dog.
That's a cut.